Trump card's click registrar, Sarah Sanders, said reporters on Monday how the judgment is one to China to do on which stop for their nation, but by cleaning the way for his own unlimited guideline, Xi has introduced Trump card in a problem distinctive to any CEO with Richard Nixon in the 1970s. Xi's shove to eliminate period framework tool he will potential stay the largest powerful lead of the growing superstate for lifetime and include more than period to devote to his search to renew China's impact at the charge of the U.S. Trump card now has the doubtful honor of creature the CEO in office space near the largest strong China lead of the contemporary year, at a period while China has never been more than politically and economically energetic. Such a script does not fare present challenges for Trump card as he tries to supervise the key relation in Xi, of a stance of family member policy weak taking into account his competing force and his own twists and unpopularity at household. It as well raises questions on America's length-term attitude to China, and the opportunity how an encouraged Xi will type oneself as possessing though more than freedom of action to defiantly claim regional claims in the southward China Sea and China policy and economical impact in Asia and for Xi's latter go is yet else sample of his policy domination in Beijing and a demonstrate of his readiness to act bravely and resolutely, independently of convention or heritage. On to Abraham Denmark, a ex-Vice Aid Registrar of Defense for East Asia and CEO of the Woodrow Wilson World Center for Scholars. The Go will offer Xi more than versatility to aggressively conduct his national policy and economical agendas as his overseas politics ambitions, Denmark told Beijing, thanks to the stiffness of its communistic framework, ever acting a much longer tactful play rather than the U.S., wherever China politics is object to 4 persons yearly upheaval inflicted by president elections. But Xi's improved statute will offer him though more than of the opulence of period how his U.S. contrary quantity lacks. In the occasion of a severe discrepancy in Trump card on trading or polar Korea, for copy, Xi could just expect him out in the expertise how he will person CEO sooner or after. Xi's lofty statute as well future emphasizes the force disbalance among his family member force and Trump card's own more than discredited policy stance, a position how analysts say occasionally trouble China as it fears unpredictable in the U.S. relation but how elder officials in Beijing as well frequently see as a mark of a policy framework captured in an unavoidable loop of decrease. China is departure to include sustainability in its management, we may or may know, told Christopher Johnson, a ex-CIA analyst who is now at the Center for Strategy and World Teaching. More than importantly, we include a CEO in China who everything else you might say is radically confident in his internal creature how the U.S. is out to kill China's framework. Trump card frequently gripes how he has legacy a growing China, disputing how producing the communistic gigantic in the planet trading organization permitted it to construct riches at America's charge. The present position has been the food, yet, of a bipartisan overseas politics intended to easy China's growth in the world framework time avoiding dispute in the U.S. But the rate of Xi's amazing seize and consolidating of force and occurrence as a athlete convenient in national reprisal has amazed lot observers and induced questions on the U.S. attitude. He's fair the definitive fingernail how says the guy is various. Not just is he giver China a lot more than energetic world sight and track but as well he is manufacturing precise how he is upending the rules how we include gotten utilized to above the recent few many decades of China policy, told Archbishop. How new pattern of management is potential to conduct to a more than energetic and muscular China, as evidenced by its violent regional claims in the southward China Sea and its waste and way infrastructure facilities, trading and growth lead, that will extend of East Asia via Central Asia in components of Africa and Europe. Thou can do the reason how West countries are cladding the largest severe contender to the world procedure and to U.S. superiority with at low the common Cold War, with the Soviets association, told Archbishop. Time the Whites Building and Country Division include opted not to criticize the go-to-fall president period framework, Xi's increasing force and China's growing problem to U.S. interests include not escaped note on Capitol Mound. Instead of developing in the direction freedom and guideline of act, Beijing is backsliding, onto Republic Representative Ed Royce of California, president of the Building Overseas Sphere Board. Which is trump card departure to do on it. In fact, trump card's politics on China may be game in Beijing's hands. Trump card yanked the U.S. out of the Trans-Pacific Association in January 2017, outgoing the doorway outdoor for Beijing to shove its own mark of trading in a area how is household to lot of the planet's fastest growing economies. He as well lavished commend on Xi in October, proverb he doesn't error China for take benefit of differences among the way the two countries do industry. I don't accuse China, Trump card told for speech to industry leaders within the large room of the human beings. Following all, who can accuse a nation for creature capable to get benefit of else nation for gain of their countrymen? I offer China large letter of credit. Trump card as well praised China on Monday for making more than, perhaps, rather than they've always made in pressure Polar Korea, but he told Russia has pruned such efforts to insulate Polar Korea by send in which China is take of. But in spite lavishing commend on Xi for his efforts to assist restrain the growth of Polar Korea's nuke program, Trump card has often specified how the U.S. as necessary considerable aid of China for sanctions regime versus the swindler mode to include the desirable impact. A big proportion of Polar Korean trade operation, legitimate and illegal, fluid via China, and lot of it as necessary official accessing to banking business services. But down there is slight testimony to propose how China has lived up to its pledge to assist suffocate off financing to Pyongyang. World sanctions regime on Polar Korea include tight sharply in the history 18 months and China banks are trying to alarm to their world resist parties how they are pliable in all regulation, on to Varun Vera, head operational official at C4ADS, that tracks illegal financing to Polar Korea. Is Trump card creature play? Trump card told recent 1 Week how the authority has advanced a large relation in China, some rather than the reality how they've been murder us on trading for the recent length time of period, murder us, completely murder the joint state on trading, and he has frequently advertised his powerful private relation in Xi. Ours relations include been far much stronger rather than they are currently, and down there are few issues how could violate relations in supplement to trading, such as Polar Korea, Taiwan, the East China Sea and the Southward China Ocean, he told. But in spite Xi's largest latter force to unite force during his own by the government, Denmark told the US yet maintains leverage in its relation in China. How told, China's leaders identify how turbulent may be upcoming, particularly if CEO Trump card decides to get activity in the economical area to show solve or construct leverage. Time Xi would choose to hit a transactions in Trump card, China is prepared and readily to answer to any adverse activity how the Trump card authority may get, he added. Time down there is several risk how Beijing may see to get benefit of Trump card's perceivable bonds in Xi. Denmark marked how both of the Pentagon and the country division seem cautious of China's intentions. Same Trump card authorities' domestic safety policy and domestic defense policy both of debated large force contest in China as a guideline problem for the joint state, and I don't wait how Trump card is departure to get snookered, he told. If whatever, he may sense the requirement to shove difficult on trading issues, in spite China's capacity to answer in type.